All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since I've posted a standalone video like this, but the beginning of this week really warranted it because I decided that I'm going to kind of recirculate one of my pillar posts from my blog. It's called "Your Shoes Are Destroying Your Feet." And if you followed my work, you'd know that this is a huge theme in my work. It's pretty much the foundation of my blog that your shoes, literally, are destroying your feet, you know? They had done it to my feet. I had suffered from different things, actually. I haven't even talked about how I used to, sprain my ankles a lot. But the big thing that did it to me was getting a terrible case of plantar fasciitis, shortly followed up by a bunion that didn't last too long, but my foot was definitely going south. And after trying many things, I realized that the common denominator was my shoes, and I did a ton of research to find out what the actual issue was, and I solved it. So that's what this video is going to be about, and I am just going to cut to the chase. I am not going to be able to elaborate on all these points. It is a very lengthy and specific article. So if you are interested, please visit the description below. There is a very detailed article under there of the same name as this video. And that's going to describe to you why each feature is so detrimental. I'm going to touch on each of them here, but I'm not going to be able to do a lot of elaboration. This would be hours long otherwise, and I would rather get through this. So what I want to start with saying is that it is my belief that footwear, these shoes that we wear every day, they are the cause of all of our foot and ankle issues that we suffer with today. So what do I mean by that? That means that people with flat feet, people with collapsed arches, people who overpronate, pronation is natural, but excessive pronation is not, people who suffer from bunions, Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, neuromas, capsulitis, sesamoiditis, turf toe comes to mind. We have all kinds of issues today. There's tons of them, to be honest. A lot of athletes would know about these things, but honestly, a lot of people, even who aren't athletes per se, will suffer from them just due to age, just due to so many years in bad footwear. And again, my theory is that all of these issues stem from our poor footwear. And what do I mean by that? By the way, I'm looking at my computer, if that's why you keep seeing me looking this way. But this includes all shoes, and it includes men and women. A lot of people tend to think like, oh, it's women's shoes that are kind of like narrow at the toe and the heels elevated. Sure, that could be the case. They may have maybe the most severe cases of it, but men are also wearing high heels. Men are also wearing incredibly tapered toe boxes. So this includes gym shoes, you know, just casual gym shoes, running shoes. This includes dress shoes, you know, hard leather dress shoes, boots, hiking boots, winter boots, fashionable boots. High heels are an obvious one. This is really, it's including everything, because the point I'm making is that they all have very similar features that I'm going to outline here, and they're all contributing to your foot deformation, and that is leading to the issues that you suffer from today. Because if you're here, I'm sure you are having foot pain. If you are following me, I can guarantee that you have foot pain, because that is what my entire brand is about. And I'm very passionate about getting people out of that pain, because I went full circle with it. I actually get why you're in pain now. So I am here to share with people why you are and to help get you out. So getting right into it, the issues with the shoes are, number one, the narrow toe box. Toe boxes of shoes should be widest at the ends of the toes. That's how our foot is actually shaped when we're born. However, the shoes we wear are the most narrow in the toe box, which is incredible. So that's why when you look at your bare feet today, most of the time your toes have learned to come to a point. They've learned to bend in. Sometimes they even have to curl together to become that way. But the narrow toe box, possibly the most detrimental feature. Elevated heel, as I just alluded to. This is not just women, this is men. The majority of shoes have a heel which is elevated somewhere between 4 to 6 millimeters above the ball of the foot. So that's not the total amount, that just means above the ball of the foot. So your heel is above the rest of your foot, which is already putting it in a weird foot stance. Because when we're barefoot, obviously the foot's level. It doesn't make sense to have the heel high. That's going to end up messing with our Achilles length, our foot stance, our calf muscles. So messes with a lot of things like that. Moving forward, the heels of shoes are very large and like clunky. That's what I call them, because they're very just awkward. They kind of make you, not even kind of, they force you to heel strike. They teach you to heel strike because it's so big, it's actually kind of hard to avoid hitting it. And like I said before, there's extra padding and there's extra height added to the heels of shoes. So it actually becomes increasingly hard to get your heel to not hit the ground first. Because normally we would be hitting the ground forefoot or midfoot first. That's what feels best to us because that's how we absorb shock. When you hit the ground heel first, that's all shock. That's hard on the joints. So terrible feature there as well. The flat non-adaptive sole. This is the next one. Now, a flat sole is not a bad thing, but when I say flat, I basically mean the fact that it's so rigid that you can't actually feel ground. You're just stuck on the sole that they've given you, and there is no bend to it. It's completely inflexible. It does not adapt to the surface that you're on. So your foot basically is only aware of this flat ground that it's on. And that's, again, unnatural. Our feet want to be picking up different textures and terrains to give feedback to our brain. That's what our feet do. They send feedback of what's going on in front of us. Now, that is part of the sole, but the next part is the built-in arch supports. Now, this is not every single shoe, but this is probably most shoes, especially more athletic shoes, and increasingly more today because it seems that arch support is getting more popular with people today. And again, this is a negative. We don't need artificial arch support. What we need is a sole that allows our feet to create a strong arch on their own. Our feet are able to do that when the big toe is strong enough. So we don't need this artificial built-in arch support. Next one is the heel counter. Now this is a little bit less important, to be honest, but still worth mentioning that a lot of our shoes have the heel kind of like secured in place and it doesn't allow it to move whatsoever. Some shoes even actually have like a little small clamp around the Achilles tendon too. Some people don't like this because they think the heel should be able to express itself with the foot in the shoe. That's up to you, but I did want to mention that one here too. Another bad one is toe spring. Toe spring is the upward slant at the end of the toe box where the toes are pointed in the air. So again, another very negative feature because why would our toes be up in the air? That doesn't make sense. Our toes want to be laying flat on the ground. Shoe manufacturers think that that helps us walk like in a rocking motion, but that's not how we naturally walk. So that actually ends up doing quite a bit of damage to us, if I'm being honest. So those are going to be the negative shoe features that I wanted to share with you. I'm actually going to cut this video in half and we're going to do another one to follow up right now of the positive shoe features. So again, check out the article below if you want to read in detail about the negative shoe features, but now we're about to go into the positive ones. I'll see you in the next one.